that's really the hardest part about like death in general is that like your world stops because this person is like no longer with you, but you would look up and it's just like everyone just like laughing, having a good time. Like life continues, and you just got to kind of like figure out a way to assimilate.
What's the word, everybody? Welcome back to Sad Boy Radio. I'm your host, Matt, and today we got a very special guest in the building. Man, we've been trying to make this happen for a little minute now.
Too long.
You're a former member of the Freesole Collective. Man, you're a rapper, producer, model, you name it. He
Yeah.
could do it. He just recently dropped his most recent project, Paradise Don't Last Forever.
I had the project like finished in like January. I kind of was just like mapping out how I wanted it to look, like getting the mixing done, like, but like conceptually, like the songs, we recorded all the songs in like 2 weeks.
Why did it take so long for it to finally come out?
So I'm an independent artist. Like if I could just press the button, I would have just pressed the button.
Mm-hmm.
It just take time to push it in motion. I like to like also not feel rushed. So once we got everything mixed, I knew like, okay, worst case scenario, I'll be ready by November.
Man, you're just coming off of your most recent headline performance. Go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
I really wanted to do Sleeping Village. I saw Questlove at Sleeping Village in like 2022, maybe 2021. And I was just blown away at like the sound quality. So reached out to my guy Andrew, was like, yo, let's book Sleeping Village. And once we got the date, it was locked in, and then it was like, all right, cool. Everything was leading up to that.
Being able to perform and being able to hold on, she said you went on tour?
Yeah, last December.
That's a little bit older. But you know, being able to take your music on tour, how has it reaffirmed your purpose that God has given you?
You know, throwing a show in your own city is cool, bro. It's like, I know you niggas. Y'all supposed to come. Like if I see you next week and you didn't come, it's gonna be a situation. But like when you in a different city and like you don't got that personal relationship with like maybe some of the crowd that's there, I think it's like a really good proof of concept that you could like still fill a room out, still be able to rock a crowd that maybe didn't like come to see you perform. Because I opened up, like, I was opening for Henry Veras. So they wasn't necessarily there for me, but I still had to go out there and do my job. Every week, like, you know, we'd perform and then I'm like, yo, meet me at the merch table. And motherfuckers would come meet me at the merch table, buy some merch, take pictures. Like, I definitely was able to like not only become a better performer, but like gain some fans. And I'm like, we did KC, Dallas, Atlanta. Atlanta was the craziest. Pulling up to the venue and like it's already a line outside the door, like shit like that. Like it just like let you know, like, all right, you know, we ain't at the crib no more.
In what ways did you notice yourself grow throughout this process, throughout this tour?
Everything that glitter ain't gold. You know what I mean? Like it ain't like what's that movie? Straight Outta Compton. I went like on a tour bus and it was like 30 girls waiting for me at the, like it highly was not that. Like we was thugging. And I think that if you get into this for the wrong reasons, like your first like smack of reality might be like, okay, it might deter you. You might be like, that's not what I really want. But me, like, I was like, I'll do that shit again. Like, I'll sleep on the couch. Whatever. I'll eat Waffle House 4 times. Like, like it ain't, I'll do it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You'll shower at Soho every day?
If they had a Soho in every city that I performed in, on God, I would, because that steam room be hidden.
But what was it you initially imagined tour to be like?
I mean, I fake knew because like my DJ namesake had been on tour and he was just like, hey bro, that shit ain't that glorious for real. And I was like, it can't be that bad. Like, bro, in Atlanta, all right, so we had to drive from Dallas to Atlanta. Like the shows was back to back. That drive, like
Dallas to Atlanta. How long is that fucking drive?
Lena, how long was that? Like 11 hours, 12 hours?
Oh my God.
But mind you, like Dallas show we rapped, we ain't really like rap till like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So that's like 12 hours to Atlanta. Sound check like 2, 3 p.m. So we drove right into sound check. Like, I ain't brushed my teeth, I ain't take a shower. Like it was like boom. So then we do sound check. It's like, okay. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go take a shower. Call a friend, like in Atlanta, family, whatever, like trying to hurry up, like by the time I got dressed for Atlanta show, I was like 10 minutes behind me supposed to being on stage. Like I literally got dressed, didn't eat, like I was able to take a shower, and then just got right on stage and performed. So there was no like, let me take a minute to, nah, it was just like boom, 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 boom.
Well, these are the things that people don't see, right? These are the things that people hear about. But when they see you as the artist, nobody wakes up and goes to the show and says, like, damn, the artist probably had this long ass day.
The more like the humanity of it.
So when you're the person going through that and when you're the one on the grind and you're really chasing a dream that you just kind of came up with one day, right? Because sure, it's presented to you as this beautiful thing, right? The tour buses, the people outside chanting, the people singing along. This is the dream that you chase. But initially, it takes brick by brick for you to build all the way up to that, right? I was just talking to Steve-O. Steve-O was like, man, it seems like your shit just blew up out of nowhere. I'm
Niggas don't see the shit when it don't blow up.
I mean, Steve-O's been there since day one. Steve-O gave me my first M, but it wasn't initially like that, right? When I first met him, I was under 5K probably. You know, now we're about to hit 35K. It took 5 years to get there. It took 5 years for us to be able to finally say like, hey, this is what we do and we're good at what we do. You know what I'm saying? And now people recognize it.
Even to that point, bro, like, niggas see me do the headline of Sleeping Village, like, I've been performing since the 6th grade. Talent shows at the roller rink. We threw our own shows in like senior in high school, like, in the suburbs, little amphitheater and shit, selling it out. So it's like, I feel you.
But even though music has been around for you forever, it wasn't the initial dream. It wasn't your first love. Your foundation was set with sports. It was set with football.
Yeah, you can say that.
In what ways did this set the foundation for who Jay Wood would become?
Man, like, I feel like playing football just kind of like taught me how to be a man or like just be an adult. Like, specifically football, because I think it's a very selfless sport. Like, sure, if you're the running back or the quarterback, like, you getting all the love. But if like you're the right guard, like, it's not that fun for real. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't do your job, your team don't win. So like, it kind of just like taught me teamwork, hard work, how to like face adversity, discipline. Even the way like how I made the project, bro. Called up all the homies and shit. And I was just like, yo, every day we gonna wake up, we gonna stretch, we gonna read a book, we gonna eat, like, we gonna eat healthy, we gonna work out, and we gonna make music. Like, I kind of even approached my work ethic in music how I would if I was like an athlete versus it being like, oh, I'm inspired. You know what I'm saying? I kind of just like made myself do the work.
You're talking about these lessons that football instilled in you. But what was the thing that you continued to carry mainly?
Just think about the workouts you got to do. Like summer camp, 2-a-days. Like you testing your body like to the limits. To maybe not have a winning season. To maybe like go out there and lose. You know what I'm saying? And you still got to come to practice the next week and like still put in like, that effort. You know what I'm saying? You might put out your best work and then your coach get in your face, grab your face mask, yell at you. Like, it kind of just taught me how to like, it made me tougher. I think that's the best way to say it.
It teaches you not to give up. Perseverance.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah, that's the word.
It teaches you perseverance because even with this is one of those things where you could put out a project and it might do 100 listens. It might do 100,000 listens. And that's where people give up a lot of the times, right? Because that first project, that first thing that you put out is going to go ahead and get the most views that you're ever going to see, right? And then the second one comes and the third one comes and the fourth one comes and people aren't listening like that no more until you continue to prove yourself. Usually that first time, people check it out because they're like, oh, this is what he's doing now? This is what they're doing?
You get that beginner's luck, that novelty.
I wouldn't even say it's luck. It's curiosity, right? It's curiosity from the people that you've already surrounded yourself by. And then that second time, they're like, okay, I'm going to check it out. And then that third time, they're kind of like, I don't care enough to continue to follow them. At least that's how it was for me, right? Because my first video, I did over 100 views. The next video did like 13. And it was like, I don't think it wasn't because it wasn't good. I mean, it wasn't that good. But there was that curiosity that people had already. And then eventually you continue to build your own fan base. And that's where people start to actually follow what you're doing.
I think the key there is that like your friends not gonna be your fans necessarily. Like they'll tee you up on your first go round just to like show you that support. But like if they don't really want to support, it's not really their job to like be there every single, you know what I'm saying, every time you got something. So it was like your first go round, like you had your support system, like, no, we fuck with you. And after that, they was like, all right, nigga.
Was that a hard thing for you to have to learn to accept?
No, because I never felt entitled. Like, I remember when I first broke 100 listens on SoundCloud, I was like geeked. I was like, oh shit. I remember when I first broke 1,000 listens on SoundCloud. I was like, nigga, 1,000? And now I'm like, 1,000? I'm like, bro. You know what I'm saying? But at a point in time, 1,000 was like hard to wrap my head around. So not necessarily like, it wasn't hard because I didn't necessarily feel entitled to it, but it was something I had to learn as far as like maybe just not being upset with people. Like, I'm like, well, you know, whoever wants to come to the show, gonna come to the show. And if they don't,
Well, that's something that a lot of people struggle with, right? They feel entitled to their friend's support. They feel like if you're my friend, you should support this no matter what. And in reality, like everybody got their own lives to live. And just because you're the center of your universe doesn't make you the center of everybody else's universe.
that's real.
For you with football, it's something that you had to learn to give up. You had to learn to let it go.
You mean as far as like football? No, I quit. I wasn't like forced to quit. I was just done.
You thought you were going to the league at one point.
I mean, everybody did. Like, and I genuinely feel like I could have went if I really wanted to. I just wanted to rap. Like, I remember I literally left my homecoming football game like senior year and was like, let's go to the studio. Like, I just didn't really have a passion for it no more. And my team sucked. It wasn't like the dream got snatched away from me more so than just like, think I grew out of it.
But I mean, that happens a lot with life anyways, right? A lot of the times your idea of what you think your success is going to be, a lot of the times your idea of what you think life is going to look like for you changes. It's not like it's a one size fits all. And because you chose that at 14, 15 means it's going to happen.
Nah, 100%.
For me, initially it was always kind of like music. I always loved music.
You used to make music?
Nah, hell no. I wanted to. I wanted to, but eventually, like I said, these things that you love don't always love you back the same way, right? So for me, I wanted to sing. I wanted to do production. But eventually I was like, I'm not going to do all that.
Why you decide that?
I didn't have the resources. I didn't know where to go with it. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know how to get there, right? And then I kind of like learned a little bit about production, but at 16, 17, I wasn't one of those kids that was going to go ahead and get a bunch of cracked software.
Why not?
I was worried about viruses and shit, bro.
Man, I'm trapping off a cracked FL right now.
I wasn't that determined, but my identity always lied within music, right? In high school, I was the person that somebody's going to ask me, you know, what you listening to right now? Like, give me the suggestions, like, you know what's going on. And then I transitioned into psychology. And somehow they all both merged.
You majored in psychology?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, see, so eventually it all both merged, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I found my way back to music in another sense. When you talked about your previous EP, Rain, in 2017, you say it's about the issues and conflicts you might face after you find out who you are.
I said that?
Yup.
Niggas was so fake deep.
Who was it you believed yourself to initially be at the time?
Bro, Rain came out, 2017? So I was 19, 20. I felt like I was just discovering who I was. You know what I'm saying? And I think that when you really discover who you are and you look at yourself like holistically, you don't only see the good things, you see the flaws too. And I think if you grew up like a golden child or like, you know, gifted and you was just used to succeeding and like always being like number one, seeing those flaws could be like very difficult to like look in the mirror in that way. So I think that's what I was getting at.
What were the flaws you started to recognize?
I think I just struggled with being alone. Like, I had anxiety at school. I didn't really want to be there. I was like a very lousy student. didn't do homework, didn't study
How'd you get into Mizzou?
because I'm smart. I was a really smart kid. I just was a terrible student. You get the difference though? Like you get what I'm saying? Like I could go to school, talk in the back of the class the whole time, show up 30 minutes late, and then the teacher would be like, "Here goes your test," and I would still get like an A+.
Damn.
Like it just was easy for me.
Mm.
But of course, college don't really work like that. College is like you kind of gotta like apply yourself. And I didn't flunk out of Mizzou. Like I still graduated, but I definitely was just like, oh, this shit actually kind of hard. I went for engineering, computer science, electrical engineering.
You graduated with an engineering degree?
I graduated with an IT minor.
Oh, you ended up going into digital storytelling.
I did, yeah.
Why the switch?
My sophomore year of college, it was like my third time taking computer science 1050 or 2050 maybe. Maybe I went to the second level. Bro, that shit was so difficult. We would be in like labs and they would give us like an assignment and it'd be kids that'd do that shit in like 30 seconds. Like do. Oh, that was so easy. Get up, walk away, laughing. I'm in the lab crying. Call my mama like, I'm finna lose my scholarship. Like, I'm fucked up. And I was just like, man, this ain't really a way to live. Like, I wanna rap. I'm here doing this work I don't really wanna do, and it's very difficult. Like, what it's costing me to be here is too much. I know I can't go back home. Like, I know I need to finish this. How can I stay here and still follow my dreams? So I was kind of just, maybe I go to film, maybe I do like communications and marketing. And my DJ namesake, he also studied digital storytelling. He was like, bro, just do DST. I'm like, what is that? Like, no one ever knows what it is. He kind of just broke it down for me and I was just like, oh, this seems like everything I would need to like be a rapper, or, like do something creative. And it was only their like second year having it at the school. So I switched my major and he was like, hey bro, you change your major, you a rapper now. Like it ain't no more bullshit and you gotta get to it. And I was like, all right, bet. Switched it and then junior year, I was making songs every week.
Is that why in Let Him In you say that college was your biggest obstacle?
Yeah, also it's like, I went to Mizzou, bro, so it's like, you gotta think about what was happening in Chicago at that time. Like everybody was popping off. It was just like a lot of shit going on at the crib that I felt like I was so removed from. All my homies back home making music, doing raw shit. I would come up here, take the train for a weekend and just be like, do an interview, shoot a music video, whatever, and then like have to go back to the middle of nowhere. So I felt like, you know that SpongeBob meme? Squidward looking through the blinds and shit? That's how I felt.
Yeah, FOMO to the max.
Overly.
So then for you, when creating that project, what was the hardest issue you had to face about yourself?
Just the time in general. Like, bro, just like think about how many people like go away to school and they come right back home. Or like depression, or like these are the years where like mental illnesses come into fruition. People develop schizophrenia. Like it just was like, I think for any kid, that first year independent, like really alone, is gonna be difficult. And I think me doing that on top of me like trying to be a rapper was like an additional stressor to like how I wanted my life to play out.
Because now you're finding your true identity, right? We don't stay the same forever. And that's why I wanted to touch on this part of your life, because that's college days, right? You think you know who you are. You think that because now that I'm 18, 19, 20, I've truly found who I am. But that changes year by year, right? I'm not the same person that I was a year ago. And when I started this at 21, I'm not the same person that I was at 21. As much as I'd like to think I maintain some of the similar qualities, you look back and you're like, fuck, the way that I thought was fucking crazy.
I look at it differently though. I look at it like I did know who I was. Like I felt like I always knew who I was. But the version of me always changed. So when I go back and play songs from 5 years ago, it's less of a like, then what was I thinking? And more so like it's like a museum. It's like, damn, I was really a fucking kid. It's like less critical and more just like observant of like, I used to feel that way. I remember when I felt that way.
Nah, I be judging the fuck out of myself. I'm like, who the fuck were you? Like, why the fuck were you saying all this?
I judge like the delivery. I'd be like, man, like I could not record. Like, you know, I judge the more like technical aspects of it, but as far as like my point of view, I feel like it's like a perfect snapshot to like understand who I was at that time.
So then in what ways has that identity changed now being almost 8 full years removed from it?
In some ways, I'm still the 13-year-old version of myself. Just, I feel like every year I get more tools, more resources, more like chapters in my book of like things to do and things not to do. Like, learned a few things the hard way, um, learned a few things watching others. So it's like if you get to, what's that movie, Spy Kids? And it was like jumping levels and shit. It's just like I get to start the level over every year, but every time I come back, I got like more tools, more weapons, more whatever.
You say that you knew what that identity was at 19. What was that identity?
I knew for a fact I wanted to be a rapper.
But what was it you realized about yourself?
I was hella shy, hella just like not very confident, hella just like, you could say insecure. You could throw that word out there. I think like even to this day, if you ask anyone who I went to school with, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, he was like very introverted."
Mm.
But I'm not an introvert. Like if you ask anybody who actually know me, they'd be like, "I think it's silly as hell." But I just didn't really feel comfortable around people in general. Kind of had like social anxiety. It was like that took like a lot of years to like get over.
What did it finally take to get through that?
I worked at Trader Joe's. You ever shop at Trader Joe's?
No.
If you go to TikTok right now, there's so much lore behind Trader Joe's employees. For one, it's like overly nice. Just nice. Social skills, sharp. Like you can go to Trader Joe's and just start a conversation with the employees. They'll ask you what plans you got. It gave me like, I think just enough like real world social experience to like, even if I'm feeling nervous or anxious, to like have like some things I can fall back on as far as social skill, like ways to carry the conversation. When it's like awkward silence, like certain questions to ask to like just, you know. Because before that, I'd be like, man, I really don't like talking.
Now we got to the deeper level.
You got to ask the right questions, twin.
Man. Nah, I think you're avoiding the questions. You look back at 19 and you're just kind of like, well, fuck. I could sit here and act like I don't remember myself at 19, but I damn well remember who I was at 19.
Like I remember like how I wanted to present myself. But I remember being like, so like when I started rapping in high school, I didn't tell nobody. I was scared. I was scared to show my friends my raps and shit. So I would just drop it on SoundCloud, and the niggas I made music with, I didn't go to high school with. They all went to HF. I went to Marion. So I was like, oh, they'll never know. It's cool. It's fine. And then one day my homie Chen was like, bro, just send your music to your group chat. I was like, all right. Sent the shit, and then was like, who is this rapper? I'm like, it's me. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah. And they was fucking with it. So, but I always struggled with that identity in high school. Like, oh, I feel like they kind of know me as like the athlete versus like the more artsy kid. Like I, you know, put patches on my clothes and like thrift and, you know, whatever. That kind of back and forth. So when I went to college, I feel like I had an opportunity to start from scratch. So I was like, I'm going to introduce myself as a rapper to every person I meet. And I did. Like, I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm Jay Wood. I had dropped a mixtape like the third day being out there. And I was just having niggas download Spinrilla. It worked. Like, I was doing open mics. I opened up for a bunch of artists at school. And I was like, quote unquote, like, okay, like the rapper on campus. But I knew in the back of my mind, I wasn't taking it as far as I could. I was kind of just like coasting.
What more could have you done?
I wasn't social. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't really enjoy talking to people. I still don't sometimes, for real. But like, I got enough skills to get by. You know what I mean? But I didn't have the skills or the heart to, for real.
Now going back to the original question, right? How has that identity changed being a full 8 years removed from it?
Just got way less fear. Like, now I'm on some it's whatever. Still certain things I'm working on, certain things that's holding me back for sure. But the growth, it's undeniable.
I mean, yeah, right? Because throughout that time, you even left your collective group, right? Freesole Collective.
I
Why did you feel the need to walk away from that?
think it's less that I walked away and more that it ended. You know what I mean? I feel like we started very young, and with any group of friends, when you get older, people start to change. You grow apart in certain ways. People make different decisions, different life decisions that may not align with yours. And I just felt like that time had been spent.
Was there something that led to the split? What was it that led to the split?
What led to the split of Freesole? Nah, I can't talk about that.
We can't talk about it.
Nah.
It can't be that bad.
You'd be surprised. They're still my guys, you know what I'm saying? Most of them.
In what ways did the individuals involved in the group help shape the person that you became?
But I feel like naturally I always looked up to my older homies, 3-4 years older than me. I heard my first Travis Scott song because of them. Bro, you never heard Travis? I was like, who is that? I'm like, that nigga sound weak. They played, Q played, what's that? Call your friends, let's get drunk. Maria, I'm drunk. I was like, what the I was like, oh my God, this shit is crazy. The music I listen to, the way I dress, business, just how to do shit. I feel like I was just having this conversation with Q. I knew my pops, but a lot of them didn't know their dad. And I feel like in a way we kind of all was we all molded each other into men for the most part.
How so?
We had disagreements. We used to get in the gloves. If niggas was really funking, it'd be let's just chess box, bro. We'd just fight it out. Or if niggas was man, bro, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Instead of keeping the shit behind the other person back, he would call him, and then we'd put each other on three-way, bro, what's with y'all niggas, bro? And we'd just figure that shit out. So I feel like it taught me to face conflict head on, not be scared to speak up, take care of my peoples. And it's musically, everybody was extremely talented in their own right. I just took my favorite shit from all of them, my favorite thing they all did, and made it my own style. Even with production, I kind of learned from Namesake and Moses. Namesake had the bounce. Moses had the chord structure and the emotion. I was just like, all right, I'm gonna take that. I liked how Free J rapped. I'm gonna bite that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's how I got my sound, for real.
So this was the initial community that welcomed you in and helped you become the J Wood we see today.
100%. I had to audition.
Yeah, it's audition.
The audition was so fucking crazy, bro. I was a junior in high school. We went to some studio in the city. I can't remember where it was at. I had no idea what the city meant that young, for real. And Q was like, Wood, ready? He ready. And I had this song called Jumpin'. They all thought it was hard. And they was like, what other songs you got? So I played 3 more songs at the studio, and then Free J and Chen was there. And they all looked at each other, and they was just like, he's in.
You mentioned that a lot of them didn't know their dads, but you knew your dad.
Tight.
You had a relationship with him?
Yeah. We come from broken homes, bro. It's just I know my pops. My pops is I feel like one of the best fathers I know of my peers. But my family also he got divorced when I was hella young. So he wasn't necessarily he ain't necessarily live with me. You know what I mean? So that's just gonna have its own effects.
What effects did you notice it had on you?
I think I'm just now addressing that. I don't know.
You don't know?
I promise you, I called a therapist last week to start. I think I'm just now getting to that.
You about to start taking that deep dive for real.
Yeah, I mean, for father wounds, mother wounds, we all grew up broken homes, bro. Maybe just a mom, maybe just a dad. maybe a parent that passed away, maybe just like not the best domestic situation, it definitely has like an effect on kids and like just how you see the world. Like that's probably why I didn't like talking to people. I just was like, you know what I'm saying? Socially anxious.
I think the project that you just released, Paradise Don't Last Forever, is one where you start to really address these sort of things a little bit more. Right? You talk about grief and the things that you face, but you're very vague about it.
You think so?
As far as relationships, that's a different thing. But when it comes to the things that you've been through, you're not going to hear very specific things, right? But when you take that deep dive into Jay Wood's story, you're able to find a little bit here and a little bit there. Something that you do mention dealing with was the death of your uncle, right? Because he was in the streets.
Yeah, 100%.
You grew up in front of a TV.
Yeah, I did say that.
How did the death of your uncle at such a young age impact you moving forward, impact you mentally?
He died in 2019. I was in college. I ain't gonna lie, it fucked me up because I couldn't go to the funeral. That's probably like the hardest part for me to deal with from his death is just like, I didn't get to see him. I ain't have enough bread to come home. My last memory of him is like, can't even remember. That was the hardest part to wrap my head around was just like, okay, my uncle passed away. And like, I wasn't there to be with my family to like grieve that with them. I was just at school.
Was anybody checking on you?
My sister might have called, my mama might have called. My pop's the one who called and told me. I feel like when I'm trying to remember that like era, it was just like I got the call. It was like, damn, that's tough. Couldn't make it home. Niggas just kind of moved on.
Or so you thought at the time.
I mean, life moved on. That's really like, start to go to class.
Because when things like that happen, it just keeps moving. The world doesn't stop. As much as you wish that it would stop for a second, just so we could acknowledge what's going on and deal with the grief and deal with the pain, the world keeps spinning. You know, somebody once talked about the fact that when the Queen died, the Queen of England, the world really did stop for like a day for her.
Did it?
The English world did.
That's really the hardest part about like death in general is that like your world stops because this person is like no longer with you. But you would look up and it's just like everyone just like laughing, having a good time. Like life continues. And you just got to kind of like figure out a way to assimilate.
What was the first experience with that you had to deal with?
My cousin got killed by the police when I was in like 7th grade. He was like young. So like I had like elder family that had passed before, but it just was like a little less sad. But he was like violently killed. And I kind of just like saw how my family reacted to that. I don't think I was old enough to like express myself emotionally in that way, but I saw how it rocked the family.
And at that age, you're not even able to process it 100%.
I remember my mom told me, she was just like, oh, you know, so-and-so. And I was just like, oh, is he like at the hospital? She was just like, no, like he gone. And I was just like, damn. Like I went to my room and just like, it was just weird.
How has that impacted your relationship with law enforcement now?
Like any other black person, I don't fuck with the police. Like I feel like even before that, like bro, we just raised to like be very careful. Like we're not, no black person is raised to be like, if something's wrong, call an officer. It's just like, you see the police, you just be like, all right, you know, driving, see them like, everybody just get kind of like straighten up in the car a little bit. We ain't doing shit wrong. It's just like that anxiety.
That's how my dad is, that whenever I'm like, dude, what did the cops do to you that you're like so scared of them?
Bro, we just watched the police like kill people on camera for years. I went to Mizzou. Most of that shit happened in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Missouri's a red state. When I went to tour campus, they had race riots. Like I'd never toured campus before going. Like they just gave me a scholarship, so I was like, fuck, I guess I'm going.
You've lived a lot of life, man. From football to Mizzou, dealing with circumstances that most people don't usually have to deal with in life. You released your latest project, Paradise Don't Last Forever. And man, I love the title of this because it really is like your happiest moments eventually do come to an end. What was the significance behind the title for you, considering you even put it in 3 different songs?
I got the name of the title because I was like in Florida, and one of my homies was like, "When you coming back?" Because I was going for Hellas, and I was like, "Shit, tomorrow." And I was like, "Paradise Don't Last Forever." Then I was like, "Oh shit, that was hard." Copy paste, threw it in my notes, saved it for later. But I think like more so the feeling behind the title is because like I was in Florida because my mama got sick, so I'm taking care of my mom and shit, and it's literally like while we're making the album, so I'm taking care of my mom, and it's just like I think it's really hard to like see your parents age that way. Like seeing them age is already difficult. Seeing them like sick in a hospital bed with like nurses and doctors is like another thing. And then like being their caretaker is like another thing. So, and it all happened kind of suddenly. So it was just weird because I'll be at the hospital with her like all day, taking care of her, helping her out. And then I'll like go to the beach because we in like Fort Lauderdale and like her crib on the water. You know what I'm saying? It was just like a really weird juxtaposition of like paradise and like I've been in the hospital for a week. Um, then I would like me and my sister took turns. Then I would like go home and I'm in Chicago. I'm with the homies and it's like a blizzard. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like Chicago is not like the cold, just kind of like it put a certain like, you know, grit on you. It give you a certain hustle. And then I next week go back to Florida. And I'm working out at the beach and people run, it's like girls in bikinis. Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like where my mama's sick. And I think that that contrast kind of like shocked me. And I feel like a lot of that alone time I had, just like being by the hospital bed, like gave me a lot of time to reflect on a lot of feelings I had that maybe I didn't know I felt. Um, and I think that's why the album was like project, mixtape, whatever, who cares, was my most vulnerable to date because I kind of had time to actually like address those things versus like just trying to survive.
What was it you finally addressed?
My feelings. Like it's so many columns. I think for a long time I was just kind of taught to be like nice and polite. And I think deep down, like it's just times I just really don't want to be. And I feel like I embrace that more. Um, feel like I don't really care, or I care less about how I'm perceived as being like the good guy. Like I'm fine with being the villain in your story if that's what it takes. Um, I remember trying to explain it to my friends. It's like it's very like matter of fact. Like this is my truth. It's ugly. It's like I might have been wrong in a situation, but like it happened. What are we gonna do with it? Where are we gonna take it from here? It is what it is.
Why do you feel like that was the way to start living, though?
What you mean?
You call it a villain. Other people would call it not a good person.
Well, I know I'm a good person, but it's more so like I'm human.
So what is a villain?
A villain is like, in their story, would be like someone who I caused someone pain, or I gave them the short end of the stick for whatever reason. Maybe I disappointed you in the way I should have. You wanted me to support you, or I disappointed a romantic partner by not meeting their expectations, or I disappointed my parents by um, choosing the rap route versus like just going to get that engineering degree. You know what I'm saying? All of those you could say like are villain arcs. But for me, it's like, well, shit, this is who I am. So
This is the life I chose.
it is what it is.
Is that where like Landline 3 comes from, right? Where you say we've been fighting and fussing, a thief in the night. How I stole your heart, but I ain't treating it right. I understand why we had to call this shit quits.
I think it's difficult um, for anyone with my lifestyle to kind of like maintain a relationship. And I feel like deep down, I know now that that would probably just be irresponsible for me to like pursue that and expect someone to be okay with like how that can look in reality. Cause it's like, it might be a weekend where like, yeah, we chilling. We finna go woo woo woo. We finna go, you know what I'm saying? And then it might be 3, 4, 5 weeks. I'm just like occupied. You know what I'm saying? And I think that when people actually see what that like really looks like in real life, like they're not okay with that. So I think that's what I was nodding at, was that like we fighting, we fussing. I'm out here doing this, you out here doing that. We obviously not on the same page. So like I understand why this don't work for you no more.
I mean, that happens a lot of the times, right? Even when you're not a creative, when you're just a person in a relationship and you're building all these situationships, people are expressed the boundaries that there are. People are expressed what the expectation is. And you agree to the expectation. And then eventually somebody else wants it to be changed. Somebody wants it to be different from what we had already established, right? So if I tell a girl, like, we're never going to actually have a relationship, we're going to have this back and forth. I'm going to call you when I want to do something. You're going to call me when you want to do something, but it's never going to actually be anything more than that, right? And eventually they don't understand, right? And it doesn't have to be them, it could be you. You could be the one that's like, "Damn, I want more from you, but we already agreed to this." And you also understand that like at no point is this going to change because that's what we said, right? So I think a lot of the times we develop these relationships, these situationships, because we just want something. A lot of the times we don't even think that we can give more, even if the opportunity was presented itself.
No, that's real.
Why is it you continue to build these situations?
So at the end of the day, bro, everybody just want to be loved. Like it feels good. Who wouldn't want that? You know what I'm saying? But obviously it's a responsibility. Like it takes work. Um, and I feel like in those situations, like I just wasn't putting in the work.
So then later on down the line in Landline 3, you say, "This is for the hoes I never call in a room full of applause. I still feel alone. I'm trying to get back to me." Why is it the love and attention failed to be enough, right? Not even from just them, but from the people in the room.
I think that's like one of the hardest parts about being not only an artist, but just like anyone with a platform is that, like when we talked about tour earlier, like no one knows what I'm dealing with underneath the performance. Like you go out, you smile, you shake hands, you crack jokes. I could have been having the worst day of my life before I left the crib. Um, but I'm putting on a face to like, be polite or try to give off an image of positivity. But I could be going through it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like in a room full of applause, I still feel alone. It's like when after the concert and everybody come and take their picture and they leave and I drop all the homies off and I go home, I still gotta go home and sit with them feelings. Like it don't go away. It just mute it for a little bit.
I still got to face the problems that I walked into that room with, right? And a lot of the times, because people see you have success, they don't think that anything's wrong.
My homie said some shit the other day. He was like, never count a nigga blessings if you can't count his curses. Like, it looked cool. You don't know what it was like when it was like me and my brother in the, you know what I'm saying? When we was hungry or we ain't had no, I slept in the car, you know what I'm saying? Like, that part don't get celebrated. It's like the cool part gets celebrated. That can kind of make you feel alienated.
So what is it that it's cost you, right? Because good morning, another thing that you say is it's all about the vision, but they don't tell you what it takes to keep the dreams in sight.
Life decisions. I got homies like getting married, starting families. I got homies that's like getting that third, fourth promotion, like starting to make real bread. And I'm kind of like investing in what I believe in. And our lives look different because of the decisions we made. And I feel like we starting to get to that age where the decisions you made at 18, 19, 20 are coming full circle.
Yeah.
Watch, give it 2-3 more years, it's gonna be like clear as day. You're gonna be like, damn, if I would have just stayed engineering, I'd be decent. What?
I have some real bread.
What? I'd be decent. But then it's like, I chose to work on my craft. That's why I can make the music I make. And it touched people how I get touched because I spent years just making songs. Nah, that's not good enough. Nah, that ain't it. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Hundreds of songs. Maybe easily over like 600 songs. 100 songs a year, 100 songs a year. Just like grinding. That was my work. That was my internship. That was my first year big boy job. It was the studio. You know what I'm saying? So these are the fruits of my labor. But I think it's really easy to get sidetracked and look at the fruits of other people's labors and be like, well, damn, if I knew he was going to get that, I would have. You know what I'm saying? I think it's really easy to like get off track in that way.
So then is that version of success that you've achieved still worth it in your eyes?
Yeah, I'll do it again, 100%.
Something that you pointed out is the fact of how different everybody's lives end up being, right? Because now that I'm 25, I see it in my friends. My homie just moved in with this girl. My other homie, what's he doing? He's like running his mom's business with her. But he was a coder at one point. So, this person got this amount of money, this person got this amount of money. I don't know how we always end up talking about money, but to me, like,
That's what this shit about, bro.
but to me, it's like the money's gonna come eventually. I'm gonna get there. But for them, it's like, oh, I need the money now.
But what does eventually mean to you? Because what if eventually for you was like, 2-3 years? What if it ended up being like 7-8 years? You okay with being broke and being 30?
I guess I'll have to find out.
We have to find out, yeah. and that's like even back to the football shit, like that's that toughness. It's just like, that's what I chose. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be okay with that.
I think when you start this, like, you just don't think that far ahead.
I also didn't like start it for money.
At no point for me did I think I did. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna get famous. I'm gonna get rich. And then by year 3, year 4, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be a little while.
Tired.
But I never thought that it was gonna take as long as it had took, right? Eventually it started to become what I envisioned it to be. It just took a lot longer to get there.
I think for me, it was like, as a kid, wanting to be a rapper, like, I never was like, oh, I want to be rich. It was more so I wanted the freedom of it. And I always had a desire to create. Like, I always felt like so much joy from having an idea and then like executing it. So like my first demo or like a merch idea or whatever, like it was making the thing that brought me the most joy. So I think when you're not tied to the end product, it makes it a little easier to stay the course. But also, like I said, because we're becoming of age, you start being like, well, damn, I didn't know it was going to take this long. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be nice to have this and have that.
You talked about sacrifices, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was the only sacrifice the money? Or what are these sacrifices you reference that you made chasing this version of success?
Bread, relationships, romantic, platonic. I lost friendships. I see my family less. I'm not finna go get like a 6-figure job. If I got to get a job, it's gonna be like some cool shit. You know, like some, you know what I'm saying? Which is like, you know, to each his own. But it's like that's the sacrifice I made.
What was the song on the album where somebody's telling you to take the job?
That's my goddad. Yeah, my OG worked at Northwestern at the hospital for like most of my life, and he got to the point where I was just like, you know what, I want some real bread. I felt like I can balance this and like rap, because I was doing like Trader Joe's, like, you know, more like odd job shit like that. I'm like, let me get like, you know, a big boy job. So I called her like, yo, they had an opening. I had to go write my resume, did the interview. I don't got no like health experience. They in the interview, she looked at my shit like, she laughed at it. Like, what makes you think you could do this job? I was like, transferable skills. Woo, 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 woo. I'm talking my shit. I'm woo, 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 woo. Da 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 da. Boom. I get a call back the next morning. They was like, yeah, you won. It was like, you got the job. You know, it's yours. And then they sent me the salary. I was like, what the fuck? I was making more at Trader Joe's. I swear to God. I swear, I was like, I lost bread. I was like, whoa.
How?
Because I ain't had no health experience. Like that was the parlay.
Man, so I want to close out by talking about this last song on Paradise Don't Last. And it's coming in hot. You say, cup half full, you pouring your heart for me. My past life done made it hard for me.
I did say that.
Why was it you were pushing love away at the time?
I think sometimes something I struggle with, receiving love is very difficult because it feels like a burden. It feels like a debt that I have to pay back. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like I owe anybody. So I think in my experience, I've noticed that like when I am being poured into in that way, it's just like bro, we got to stop this. This is too much.
Do you struggle with relationships? Not getting them, but like maintaining them in this way.
Romantically, yeah.
Because this whole album, there's a lot of that. Like, I'm not good for you. I'm this toxic person. And
I'm not toxic. I'm just honest.
you called yourself toxic.
I did.
In Wisconsin.
Oh, I did. So be it. I had a conversation with a friend earlier this year. And it was just like, you know, you deserve to be loved, right? And I think that was the first time I realized like I didn't feel that way.
Well, it comes from relationships that you've had, right? For me, I was in a relationship where I was told X amount of things and this, and that about myself, and it made me view myself in a different light, right? When you're told you're not a good person, you're not good for me, all these things, it makes you view yourself in a different light. So then you move on to the next relationship and the next one and the next one, and it's like, why do you even like me? Like, I was never the person that thought bad about myself, but subconsciously being told all these things along the way, it made me view myself as like, I'm not good for you. Why do you like me? Why are you here? But that's why I'm saying, like, for you, what was it, right? Because you're saying that it took for somebody to say that you deserve love.
I think just like knowing that you've hurt someone before, like someone you care about, like seeing the way it affects them, I definitely like took that to heart. And I just didn't ever want to make nobody feel that way again. So it's like, I'm trying to protect you, but I'm also trying to protect me. You know what I'm saying? Scary, bro. That love shit's scary.
That's why paradise don't last forever.
It don't last
bro.
forever. Let's just enjoy it while we got it.
Otherwise, you'll go nowhere fast.
Oh, brother.
But man, I appreciate you coming through, bro. What the fuck we get? We got like 85, 90 minutes or something like that.
We've definitely been in this chair for a minute.
Go ahead, plug whatever you got to plug, bro.
Shit, Paradise Don't Last Forever. Go stream that.
Make sure you go ahead and check out Paradise Don't Last Forever by Jay Wood. Make sure you go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Sad Boys for real. Peace out.